I just realized I'm thirsty.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? You never say Happy Friday. You never say, well, it's Friday.
Happy Friday, everyone.
There, you see, you got to have some variety.
Yes, very much so. And unfortunately for wrist check, I don't have a variety because I'm still wearing the same watch.
That's okay.
So that's a segue to wrist check.
Oh, I was wondering where she was going with that. All right, well, let's be right back. Okay, here's what Sabrina's wearing.
Yep, ooh, that was bright. I was wearing this the last time we did a video, but it's super comfortable, especially with the strap, and I like the colors of the strap, and I don't know, I've always kind of liked these watches with their, whoa.
You stay still. Let me do this. You stay in one place. They are really cool. People talk about the Mac VSOG watches, and here I get to insert that I'm the one that identified the 7005 one. I'm still incredibly proud of that. I still can't believe that story, even though it's true. So this is the fourth one. First was a 6619, 7 was a 619, second was a 6119, third was the 7005 that I discovered. This one was made at the same time as the 6119s. It has a slightly different case. It's what I call a bow-legged or a cowboy case because it looks like he's, been on the saddle all day. But it's got the same dial. And I have spoken to at least one person who said that his father was issued one of these. I've lost connection with that person though, so I can't verify that. But the dial is exactly the same, and it was sold at the same time and in the same places. What are the chances that one didn't make it on a mission? But currently don't have any proof.
Nope.
Okay, so, and I'm wearing one of the watches from my big batch of watches I bought from my friend. This is a JDM Seiko 5 Sports Speed Timer 61380030 Kakume, and it is now on the correct original Stellux bracelet, which I did not know that I had. I was digging through stuff and it fell out of a bag. I was like, oh, that's cool. But this one's nice. The JDMs either came non-lume, which I don't really like unlumed watches, but these came with lume, and those are the correct white arrow tip hands. Really cool. All the lume is original. The only thing I did with this watch is the crystal in it was kind of crappy, so I found the best original that we had saved, thanks to your organization, and I put that in. Looks pretty good. Case is a little polished on this side, but the case lines on the other side are good. I'm happy with it. I really am. Groovy, she says. Yep, groovy. You want to do this thing?
I'm just looking at your hair.
I know, it's great.
Sebastian's getting really...
I know. We're going to have to go down there tomorrow, but I don't know how busy they are.
I have no idea.
No, I'll have to call and see if they got any slots open. I know. He really wants a haircut, but you have to tell me how short. Was the last time good?
Yeah, the last time was fine. It was the time before it was too short.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm right. All right, well, let's go for it.
Okay. From Mail Call 197. From, I will now call Connor.
Okay.
Not Con Air. Just to follow up on my Porsche design query, I would be interested in your thoughts on the Valjoux 7750 movement compared to the Lamania 5100. I went for the earlier Valjoux 7750 as I found the Lamania. Am I pronouncing it right?
I think so.
I'm like, Lamania! It sounds like a freaking hair metal concert.
I mean, what else do you... Lamania? I don't know.
Frick if I know. I'm just curious as the Lamania versions command more money.
And now in the center ring, Lamania! What would be his theme song?
I don't know.
What would his outfit look like? He'd have to be like some kind of a... No, he'd have to be some kind of clockwork machine person.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Lemon yellow?
You don't want people to... I don't know. Lemon can be touchy. Okay, well, let's do it. Sorry about that.
Okay, where was I? I was on Lamania. Those versions command more money. Is this because the movements are discontinued, or are they considered to be of higher quality? Thanks again, guys. It's much appreciated.
I love the 7750 movement. I really do. It's not fussy. It's straightforward. It's simplified in good ways. It's not cheaply made. The updates to it are very sensible. Like instead of like a column wheel or anything else like that, it has a cam, and it's really strong. It's a very well built piece, and they're super durable as a result. I mean, they're nice movements. I really like 7750s, and it's a testament to the coolness of the 7750 that they are in so many things even today, that people use them all the time. They're really hard to beat. Lamania 5100, I have a couple with a very closely related movement. They're very cool. They're much more complex. They have things like, they have vertical column stuff. They have clutches and things in there. A lot more spring operated stuff. There's some in the 7750, but it's, I don't know, people describe them as robust, but my feeling was that the Lamania was, while great movement and certainly robust, just wasn't as robust as the 7750. But it's hard to choose. How do you choose?
I'm still thinking about our wrestler Lamania and what he would look like, so I wasn't listening.
I had a really funny thought when you were in the middle of reading your question, and I had to put it away so I could listen to the question, and now I don't remember what it is. And I'm really, really hoping that it comes back.
That's why I just randomly start talking in the middle of reading a question.
I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, Lamania, he's got to be some kind of clockwork thing going on.
I guess.
And that means when he was coming into the arena, it has to be a big tick-tock.
Well, and also, like, where are they from?
Who, Lamania?
Yeah.
Well, it's Switzerland.
Oh.
Oh, that would have to be his uniform, just like one of the papal Swiss guards. There it is.
Okay.
That's it. We figured that one out. We've got his walking down to the stage music. We do? Yeah, sure. There is no music. It's just a giant, horrible ticking. And everybody knows.
I wonder if somebody ever did that.
Like, his enemy must be the Smasher.
The Smasher?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I think Doggy wants to go inside.
I don't know what he wants.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man, what's up? Everything's cool. What's happening? Did he come in the front or the back?
No, back.
No. Hi, dude.
I don't know if he's hot or if somebody was chasing him.
He was probably having fun yelling at Kraken.
Oh, poor Kraken.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, nothing wrong with the Valju 7750. Oh, what did I learn? Well, okay, talking about Zenith or Zenith watches, like their El Primero movement, it was the best of the best, right? When it came out, and then the quartz crisis hit, and the the company said to like the main like production dudes, we're not going to make those anymore. I want you to take all the tooling and everything for it and destroy it. And the movement would have been lost forever. But this guy was like, absolutely, I'm completely going to do that. And he took and he hid everything up in the attic.
Wow.
And then they were able to take everything back down and make it again. What I did not know is that the same thing happened to the Valju 7750. What's
it with them and
I don't know.
Destroying things.
I don't know why you would destroy tooling for something like that. I don't know. I mean, it's like DeLorean. You have all these people trying to recreate these DeLoreans, right? But like the stainless steel body panels were made on these giant jigs, these forms, these molds that would go wham and smash them together. The forms are gone. They're being used as some kind of anchor base somewhere in the water between Ireland and England.
Wait, but nobody has created
They don't have a duplicate, and those forms, they're giant hunks of steel, are being used as anchors. They're out in the ocean.
I don't know. I thought people could math and use computers and stuff.
Well, maybe things are different now, but it's a tough thing to do. It's like when NASA recover. One of the reasons they recovered the old Friendship 7, which is one of the Gemini missions, and the guy, but they were looking for the discarded engines, the Atlas engines in the water. I might have gotten my things conflated, but they were getting it back specifically because this is NASA. They were getting it back specifically because they didn't understand how the Atlas motors were built, and they needed a physical one of this particular type or something to try to figure out how they were made and designed.
Huh. I had no idea.
I was flabbergasted when I read that.
Okay, from Biff Tannen BTTF. About the A826 from Back to the Future,
The Libyans!
Doc actually did use the little pusher thingy. It has a little ring that goes around your finger, and you can see it on his finger in the movie. Pretty cool.
Yeah, somebody made a really smart choice when they suggested that one. It's perfect. Again, I'm personally convinced that during that whole period in the early mid-'80s, Seiko was behind the scenes somehow doing deals to get their watches into movies, because they did it a lot. A lot of those early and mid-'80s movies showed Seikos.
Okay. Reconditioning an old leather strap. From Oyster3694. I know this is an old video, but I thought I'd share some info. A couple of great leather conditioners are Venetian Leather Balm or Venetian Shoe Cream. Also Sapphire Renovateur. And for a deeper conditioner, Neat's Foot Oil or Smith's Leather Balm. And that sunken ship, I believe, had Russian reindeer leather.
Oh, the last thing he said was talking about this ship that went down in the Baltic in the 1700s. It was bringing a giant cargo to Catherine the Great with all kinds. Wait, no. I got my two things conflated. That's a separate ship, but they know where it is, but they can't figure out what to do with it. Stuff in the Baltic Sea, when it sinks, it's brackish water. It's a mix of salt and fresh water, as everybody knows, as every school child knows. And so there's no shipworm, and it's cold, which means that stuff just sits there. It doesn't go bad. Well, some Dutch trade ship was, bobbing its way towards St. Petersburg, and it went down in the Baltic, however many centuries ago. And the hold was full of these high-quality leathers that were being sent out. And most people, they would always be like, basically, people said, well, the leather's ruined. And one guy was like, come on now. So he went and he got a buttload of lanolin, and this leather was pulled out of the hold of this ship this sunken ship where it had been like 300 years. He landed the bejesus out of it and let it just sit there. And after he washed it in fresh water. And then when he was done, it was fine.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was fine, so... But anyway, the Catherine the Great ship. They have found it. There was this ship heading for Russia, and she was really into European culture, especially paintings. And it was loaded with all kinds of treasures that were coming, including a ton of oil paintings, including some named paintings that are known to be lost. But they found the ship, and it's still sitting there. The holes are kind of full of like dust and mud and stuff, but the paintings are still there.
Wow.
Like they can see them. Not like
How
see them.
can they get them up?
They're trying to figure it out. Right now they're just for the last however many years, the location is hidden, and they're probably thinking about how in the world they're going to deal with that.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Do you want to say anything about the things he suggested, the conditioners?
I will try them. I have Neat's Foot Oil.
Yeah, I knew that sounded familiar. I was like,
It was from my grandfather's.
Right, that's what I used on the chair that the kids ripped anyway.
Did it work?
It did, but the seat was already ripping, and so no amount of
Right.
conditioner would have fixed it.
I'm curious if Neat's Foot Oil is acidic. I'm curious about what the deal is with that. The great suggestions. I want to try it out.
The SBDX017 Marine Master Hawaiian Beach Find from what?
I just want to give, for those who didn't remember, guy was on the beach in Hawaii, poking around as one does, looking for ammonites, and he found a Marine Master, He found a Marine Master, but it was clearly had been in the ocean for a while, but the inside looked like it literally had water in it, like it still had water in it. But it had broken at the diver extension clasp, which, by the way, was the exact same place where my Landmaster broke.
Really?
2 nights ago. It snapped in the exact same place as that Marine Master, and the watch is nearly new.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's because it's just these 2 tiny little tabs, and it just went tink, and that's exactly what happened to that guy. Anyway, I got it here. I begged the guy not to make me open it unless I was going to do the whole thing, because if I didn't do it immediately, it was going to die. He refused to okay it after insisting that it be open, and the watch is now dead. But anyway, pretty cool. Mm-hmm. What was his question?
I don't even think I asked it because you told me to hold off.
Oh, that's right. So that was the preliminary. That was the preamble.
Ninja MLM. They found a Rolex sub covered in barnacles and rust in Australia that I don't think leaked. It was down for years and the guy was able to return it to the owner who lost it. This is an embarrassment for Seiko. I wonder if my Chinese Seiko homage MM running on NH35 would fare better. It might.
It might. That's the corrosion in that Marine Master, that SBDX 017 was weird. It was like a worm drilling a hole through wood. That's what it looked like. So like most all of the sealing surfaces were great, but this one, it was just like it had just eaten a hole through. It still had liquid water in it, literally, but the liquid water and the little bit of oxygen that was in there got eaten up by the very, very beginnings of corrosion, and then it was oxygen free inside, and I knew, like, the loom was even still good. Like, literally, it looked fine. I could have saved the whole thing, and within like an hour of opening it, the loom had started getting rusty colored, and it's just, what can you do? And the guy didn't want to do anything with it. I mailed it back to him. I have no idea what happened to that watch.
Well, maybe it's like a snow globe now.
Maybe.
Okay. Oh, you copied that twice. An old buddy sold me his collection overflow.
He did.
Okay, from Aaron Costello, 8812.
Aaron Costello is one of the old dudes, like in this from forever, even before Seiko Collector Watch Forum was a thing. He's been with them since the beginning.
And that's his avatar?
That is his avatar.
I
left that in specifically so you'd see it.
I have been rewatching Beavis and Butthead every once in a while during the day.
I can't do Beavis. I have to work on it.
No, that was Butthead you were doing.
I was thinking about it.
Anyway. The cursor on that slide rule was probably sourced from Jonathan Koch back in the day. He got them when he was trying to order some 6138 7000 bezels from a supply house. The supply house didn't have anything that was listed as a bezel for this model, but they did have something called a cursor for it. The guy at the supply house asked if he wanted to buy any, even though neither of them knew what the part was. Yes, how many? I will take all that you have. Not sure how many he got, but he sold a number of them along to us SCWF rats who happened to have 6138 7000s. These cursors never survived in the wild. Snag it on something just once and it is gone. My first 6138 7000 actually came with a piece of one still attached, but seeing an intact one is incredibly rare.
I didn't know that. I think I accidentally discovered how to uninstall and reinstall them with minimal to no danger whatsoever to the thing. You take the crystal out first.
Nobody's ever done that.
I don't know. I have no idea. It never even occurred to me. Because this is my original, and Swordfish Dave had with this new old stock crystal, and they're hell on wheels to find. And this thing, I'm like, I don't even want to fool with the cursor ring. I'm like, I wonder what happened, because I know that goes in there and it slides in between. I wonder if the crystal even touches the thing. And I went, boink.
Wait, where did you put the takey-offy tool.
Well, no, okay, so there's the cursor ring. The cursor ring snaps tightly to the inside of this inner race right here, okay? So it's basically springing out and holding to the inside.
So you got the opening thingy under...
Right, so I just had the empty case, I flipped it over, I popped the crystal out, lo and behold, it didn't touch the cursor at all. And
How old is that watch?
1972. But the point being, you don't have to fart with the thing and hope you don't break it getting it out. What's even better is you can just drop it back in, and then put the crystal in, and you're fine.
So since 1972, nobody that was later on the internet, I can't speak for everybody in the world, knew what to do.
I don't know. I mean, I've been off forums for 10 years. I mean, what do I know about anything?
I don't know.
Any case, so there you go. Please spread the word to you and all of your friends, when you're busy, doing your slide rule restoration this weekend. That's the way you do it. If you need to change out that cursor ring, take the crystal out first and reverse it to put it back together.
Okay. The video you did on the slide rule.
Cracking, she's out of bed. I hope she feels a little better.
She's just been sitting there.
I had to take her to the vet yesterday and she got shots.
And she don't feel good.
She doesn't feel good.
Did I say it's on the video on the slide rule is the next question?
No, okay, so next question's from the slide rule video.
From Todd's9947, I still have what I believe to be one of Jonathan's slide rule watches. I also have the vintage Heuer version with the caliber 14, two really cool watches.
That's great. That makes two of us that have slide rules that were in some way involved with Jonathan. My resto mod came from him, I believe. This might be one of those things where Saul always corrects me, and I always misremember it as a result.
I'll try to pay attention this time to see if I can remember.
I keep claiming that mine came from Jonathan Koch. I know I worked on it for Jonathan. I remember looking at it. I was standing in the big room by my watch bench. I was just about to mail it back to him. Or was I going to mail it back to Saul? Maybe I was going to mail it back to Saul.
Wait, you were in the big room?
I was in the big room downstairs. And
was your bench there?
Well, I don't remember. I was standing in the middle of the room, but I was looking at the watch with the light like this, and I was like, this watch is so cool. And then it was gone for years and years and years. And then, thanks to Saul, it came back to me.
Thank you.
Just like, not quite like my Chevron. Did you guys see the story about my Chevron?
Wait, did we finish the...
Did we? No, I don't think we did.
Oh, wait, yes, we did.
We did?
He just said that he had one.
Did you see how beautiful my cat is?
Poor baby.
I know, she feels good.
I woke up at 2 in the morning because someone dropped earplugs. And then I was up till...
She's a light sleeper.
No, I mean like the earplug holder.
It's like a little plastic, and it went boop on the floor.
Whatever, and I had earplugs in and I could hear it.
Well.
Anyway, and so I was up at 2 for a while, and your cat was still in the same place she was sleeping all day. So it was her leukemia shot.
Oh, the rain's coming. So last thing, talking about my Chevron, if you don't mind, go watch the Chevron video, because I bought a giant watch lot from my friend, and a watch that wasn't on the list of the watches that I bought came out of the box. And I was like, oh, cool, it's a Chevron. Man, you never see those. I think I've only ever seen 2 of those, and I owned one like 15 years ago. Never had a rotating ring for it. I sold it. I was looking at the thing, and I was looking at it, and there was a spot above the 12 marker to the left. It was just like this darker piece of like blue paint that had been put on the lighter blue dial. And I was looking at it, and I was like, I did that.
Yeah,
I did that.
I was like,
that was
what?
me. It was one of the very first anythings I ever did to a dial.
No, I mean, you have always been trying to get the thing right. Why would you have just not even tried?
I think in those days, because I was unmedicated for my ADHD, wasn't there an ADHD question?
Not that you put on here.
Really?
I don't think so. I'm not done yet.
Oh, you're not done yet?
Oh, wait, yeah, we still have stuff to do.
I know.
Why are you acting like it's the end?
I thought you wanted it to be the end.
This is the end.
This is the end. My only friend. Depends. In any case, but I looked at it. I was unmedicated for ADHD. I used to rush things to try to get that, burst of endorphin, like, oh, I finished the thing. I don't know why. I think it's probably I don't know. But I'm going to correct it. We're going to go through that watch. I'm going to make it better.
Excellent. But anyway, about that video, Elder Pinto 4102 said, awesome, this is lovely, and the story, I am speechless. Haha. When he realized it was his watch, I was like, huh?
Well, it's just like a lot of my memory. It's weird, the past keeps getting further away, and my memory's not just getting dimmer, they're kind of like disintegrating, like a little weird, like old things like that. It's like you have to bring up an old memory, and I was looking at that, and it was like trying to get a half full lighter to go click, click, click in my brain, trying to come up with. And then it was like, I remember doing it. I remember being like, oh, it doesn't match at all. Even then, I was pretty good at color matching, so I must have been rushing. Maybe I had crappy brushes. I probably had really crappy brushes.
Yeah, it was. Don't you remember? And then I bought you them for Christmas. Mm-hmm. I bet that's what it was.
Yeah, and all my paints, because I hadn't been building models or anything for that long, all my paints were ancient. They were from San Francisco.
Wow.
Like 15 years previously.
Okay.
I still have some from Cliff's Hardware, too.
Wait, they're not ones. Why did we go there that one time?
The first time? Or the second time to go see Chris?
No, when we were there. When did we? Why were we in there?
In where? Cliff's Hardware? So you could see it.
Oh.
My stomping grounds. I worked at the Castro Theater right next door.
Okay.
It was my second job. I just thought it'd be fun. Plus, I got to see movies for free. But Cliff's Hardware is right next door to it. It's a great old school hardware store.
Okay, from the fakes are getting better. New 6138 Panda dials. From Truxton 1000. I got a 6138 that looks like it's original. All the points in this video checks out with one difference. It has a small loom dots at the end of the hours marker.
Yep.
I have seen some dials that are supposed to be 100% original that also have these loom dots. Does it mean an original dial can have loom dots and not?
Well, okay, so a 6138 Panda dial has baton markers, and at the end of every baton marker, it has a little loom dot. It's on the marker on like a little step, like the marker comes along and it goes boop, boop, and then it ends. In that little place is a blob of loom. It has to be there because it was there. They all had it. There was no non-loomed Panda dial for that model. If you're not seeing, maybe the loom has gone black. It's still supposed to be there. With the fake dials, they still haven't gotten the loom right. It's too green, and it's kind of not skillfully applied. Also, the applied metal logo has this kind of blobby look, kind of rounded look to the top. Seiko's were knife sharp, perfectly precise. Anyway, so, yeah, but they're still getting good. But I can take one of those dials and I can make those look really good. I haven't done it, but I can. And if I do, I've told people. I think I did it once. Anyway, go on.
So this was an email from someone named Daniel. What are you doing?
Looking through the stone and listening to you.
I have my father's 6139 6000.
I have my father's
6139 6000 that I would like to get restored for him one day, but one thing I'm concerned about is the sub-dial minute hand is not on the dial anymore. There have been a few times where I've read that if the sub-dial hand has popped off the dial, it would mean the chronograph wheel is broken. Does a missing sub-dial hand actually indicate that a chronograph wheel has gone bad? Or is it possible for the minute hand to pop off and still have a functional chronograph wheel? Both of the chronograph pushers are also stuck, so I can't test if the seconds hand sweep is working, but I'm really hoping everything still works.
What you're describing is those. Okay, first questions first. The sub-dial hand, those will pop off. If you do a hard reset, punk, it can pop it off because you're putting force into the reset of the chronograph wheel, which communicates that force through the intermediate wheel and then slams into the heart wheel, there. When you do that, oh no, wait, no, I got that backwards. I apologize. I was talking about how the minute counter itself worked, but no, with that reset, it can be pretty hard too. But the reset, when the hammer comes in, whap, and if it's hard enough, it's like hitting a stick that's got a rag on the end, right? And it goes, and off it comes. Same thing. You just want to make sure the hand is probably underneath the on the dial. You just don't want the watch to run, because if so, it can catch that hand or any loose hands and drag them around the dial, which is what you don't want to do. That's the only way. The other hands. Did he say the main sweep had come loose?
Is it possible for the minute hand to pop off and still have a functional chronograph wheel?
Sure, absolutely. They're two separate things. You have the. Here you go with your watch. You have the two sides of the watch right in the middle of this movement. Inside the watch. This side is the train side. That's the tick, 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 tick. That makes the hours and the minutes. This side, that's the chronograph side. But the chronograph actually runs out of this side. It's completely unrelated to the calendar gearing at all. I mean, they interact, but one doesn't really affect the other. The buttons sticking, for me, that's a sign of originality, because the old seals, they're just hard as a rock. They become hard as plastic, and you push the things in, they don't flex, your button gets stuck. But yeah, man, go ahead. I'd be curious to see it. If you want to take a picture of just the front or whatever, and you can post it in your comment below, and I'd love to see it.
Okay. Last one from 247ADT. I have a mail call question about ADHD. My granddaughter is in driver training and asked me to teach her. She shared with me that she fears her ADHD will hinder her ability to drive. Spencer, can you give me any insight that may help me teach my granddaughter? I recognize that this is not a watch topic, but since you have discussed your ADHD, that the subject was not taboo on your channel, thanks in advance. I have ADHD too, and that kind of thing affects me more than him. I space the frig out all the time. I have to be I'm just on high alert to make sure that, I'm not going to run back over one of my kids or my pets. I have to be, I have to look around and make sure, I'm aware of my surroundings, and that's just from years of driving. I had to get used to it, and honestly, I don't drive quite that much because of my ADHD and spacing out. It's kind of scary. So I don't know, for me, it's just keep doing it and don't go too far.
For me, I don't know, for me, it's like doing mindless things that I have to do is actually pretty freeing for my mind. It's one of the reasons I love, not love, but I can really get into the rhythm. I feel like assembling something. I used to work in quick print for a long time. You had to hand collate all this stuff and run back and forth in gigantic piles of paper. Once I got into a rhythm, it was fine. I'd sit there and think about other stuff and do the thing. For me, same thing with driving. I think I'm a pretty cautious driver. I'm very aware of my surroundings, and I check what's going on. If I'm on the highway, maybe less so. But for me, driving is great because you're always looking at something new. Everything's changing. You're always looking around. Something is always getting your attention. You can check it out. But because of the muscle memory and all the unconscious stuff that's going on, I'm still checking stuff. I'm still looking around, and I'm not distracted from the road. So for me, I don't know.
I think I'm more inattentive type than you are,
and she's a demon behind the wheel.
I'm a demon?
Oh, man.
It was the one time and I was but a youth.
Oh, my God. She was so pregnant. And I was following her and her neon, and it was heading south south of 128, south of Boston, heading due south. And we were trying to pull off into Walpole. And I was in the old Volvo because we had to go get it because we had taken it to a mechanic to look at. So we were driving separately. She was pregnant. And man, I'm trying to keep up with her 4-lane road. She's cutting through traffic because he has to go to the escape. And she's just also, she was doing this thing where she'd go, going like this. And I was like, and she's pregnant. Like the wheel is right on Sadie. We got home, but
yeah, well, you know what? To drive there, you have to be an aggressive driver, and I had to prove I was from New York or
I was
something.
looking at the Project Car subreddit, and some guy is just starting his neon
Oh yeah,
project.
you sent it to me.
Yeah,
See, neons are cool. They're not a white trash car.
The same thing happened. The same thing with everything, like Seiko 007s. You think they're everywhere. You think they're easy to get another one. They're not worth that much. All of a sudden, they're gone because everybody else bought the same thing and they didn't preserve them.
Yeah, or they blew the head gasket.
Wasn't my fault, man. I got stuck in traffic. I was stuck in the Big Dig. I was in the tunnels underneath Boston in the middle of a blazing Boston summer day with huge humidity, literally stuck in nonstop traffic.
How did you get home again?
I don't remember. I was running because it wanted to overheat, so I was running the heat in the car on as high a setting as I possibly could, and that did help a little bit. And I tried to never rev if I couldn't. I don't remember why. I did shut it off and turn it back on if I was there longer, but I got all the way home to her.
Were we in Providence? For a dying neon in the Big Dig, you know, that's a hike.
I did it. You just keep going until you can't anymore. That's the Klein way.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's it, folks. It's been lots of fun. It's going to rain all weekend. I'm hoping to finish the rebuild on our garage Telecaster and, I don't know, fool around some. All right, thank you very much for watching. And please, I'd be very happy if you'd go check out that Chevron video. I think I dig that. Okay, thanks, bye.